Hey everybody, I'm in my basement here right now and give a little break from the LTD stuff and show you what happens to old Bonneville race bikes when they get tired or I get tired of racing or whatever. So these are my two bikes actually. The S1, I'll move out of the way here in a second, but then the one behind it is my X1 Bonneville race bike. So we're going to talk about that bike tonight. So here it is. This is my Bonneville X1 bike. I call it the black bike. I've got another one as well, but right now this bike was last ran at Wilmington, Ohio in 2012, I believe. In this configuration, open, no fairing, and right now it's got an 80 cubic inch engine, or just under 80. It's a stock stroke, 3 13/16 with a 40 over 3 5/8 bore. All S&S cases, S&S everything. Only makes a little over 100 horsepower, nothing crazy. I think the compression's like 11:1. It's just something I put together to have fun with. But I'm going to go back and go through some of the old pictures and old configurations of this bike. This bike's had two different engines in it. The first one was a 100-inch with S&S B1 heads, made a little over 140 horsepower. Then I put nitrous on it and then burned some stuff up. I've ran it with a fairing, without a fairing, drag raced it, ran it at Bonneville, ran it at Maxton a bunch, and then Wilmington, Ohio, and here it's pretty much sat the last few years. I did have it out and running last year. That's why there's oil stains on the floor beneath it. Just to get it back out, I was thinking about taking it to the drag strip, but of course that didn't happen. So let's go over the history. Here's some pictures of the configuration starting all the way back in, I believe, 2005. I started with this thing.
Nine-one.
All right, let's look at some of the little details on the bike. Probably the biggest reason I chose the X1 frame for this bike, other than the frame was cheap, was that X1s have a bolt-on tail section. So I was able to build a tubular rear support right here. Goes up underneath there. Allowed me to mount this AirTech tail section. The swing arm has been extended 4 inches, so it's got about a 59-inch wheelbase right now. I made the rear sets, nothing fancy, a little sheet metal, but very effective. I mixed and match Buell parts. Actually, the shock is a Works shock. To lower the bike, I used a short Buell shock and a long Works shock, Works Performance. That allowed the whole bike to sit quite a bit lower, flatten out the swing arm a little bit. The front forks, I don't even remember if I put springs in those or not. I think they're stock height. It's got an S&S front motor mount on it. Right now, it just has a simple stock headlamp, steering stabilizer on the other side. Really pretty simple build, but it's very effective. So that was a little background on this Buell X1 Bonneville bike. In this configuration, it went 149 into a 15-mile-an-hour headwind at Wilmington, Ohio. So I'd like to take it out again someday and run it. Needs to spend a little bit more time on the dyno. Like I said, it only makes about 105 horse right now. It should be more than that. Should be around 115. Need to get that figured out, but it's a good, reliable bike just the way it sits. And if you have any questions, let me know. Post them in the comments. Like and subscribe. And maybe I'll do a video next on the big bike, the 167 Bonneville bike that's gone over 200 miles an hour. Thanks a lot.